How long in your life have you been homeless?
Maybe like 10 years, sir.
Any particular reason why?
I'm an adult, Corona hit, and I became homeless.
You're homeless because you wanted to be homeless. Court is going to sentence you to. All right, the court is going to sentence you to 8 years in the prison. I'm not following that plea. Okay, thank you.
So we've got two cases today, and both of them are absolutely wild. The first involves a cocky homeless defendant whose story Judge Boyd seems to see through almost immediately. And the second case gets much darker, to the point where parts of it had to be blurred because of how graphic the details were. What makes both of these cases so interesting is that they walk into court expecting one outcome, and then Judge Boyd completely flips the script on them. You can actually see the moment it starts sinking and that things aren't going the way they expected. These are two completely different cases, but they both come down to the same thing, a serious reality check from the bench. Do you think either defendant deserves some kind of break, or was Judge Boyd completely justified? Let's dive in and watch.
Are you Andrew Drago?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. On June 30th, you entered a plea of no contest to the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. According to the plea bargaining agreement, the state is proceeding on counts 1 and 2. There's punishment to be assessed at a cap of 5 years. There's $2,500 fine, affirmative finding of deadly weapon, and the state is silent on your application. And there is a no contact order that's outside the agreement. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any objections, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Are there any witnesses, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, I'll call the defendant.
All right. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
You can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Matthew Andrew Drogo.
All right. Defense?
Mr. Hidrogo, we're here asking the court for probation, deferred adjudication today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to be asking you some questions. I'd like you to answer them directly and truthfully, okay? At the time of this offense, you were homeless. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And make sure you speak out loud.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And looking through the PSI, I suspect that you've been homeless for quite some time. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You have, respectfully, you have an extensive criminal history, particularly with respect to misdemeanors, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it appears that most of those were for theft or criminal trespass.
Yes, sir.
Is that because you were homeless during those times?
Yes, sir.
You do have some felonies, but it looks like you've never been to TDC, correct?
Yes, sir.
You've been to state jail, however, on 3 times.
Yes, sir.
And were those for offenses related to your homelessness as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long in your life, give or take, have you been homeless?
Maybe like 10 years, sir.
Okay. Any particular reason why?
No, sir. Just I'm an adult. Corona hit me and my family, and I became homeless.
Okay. Now, there's a few things that I want to speak to that the PSI addresses. Okay. Now, in the PSI, you frankly, you deny committing the offense, correct? You state that you were acting in self-defense.
Yes, sir.
However, you chose to plead to this and not proceed to jury trial because you did not feel the jury would believe your defense. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I spoke to you about that again this morning. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you persist that you do not want a jury trial because of the fact that you don't believe the jury will believe your defense. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Also, the PSI mentions that you are a confirmed gang member. And to that, how do you respond?
No, sir. I'm not confirmed.
Let me start over. They're just saying that you have to be careful what you ask for. And potentially, if the judge gives you deferred adjudication and you violate that deferred adjudication, the court could at that time sentence you up to 20 years in prison versus the 5 years, which is the maximum today. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So you understand that if you are asking for deferred adjudication and you get it, you better do everything that's asked of you, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you going to be able to do what's asked of you, especially considering the fact that you've been essentially homeless for the last 10 years?
Yes, sir.
Would you remain homeless if the court gives you deferred adjudication, or do you have plans?
No, sir. I got a place to stay
Where?
with my mom.
Right? Respectfully, why have you not stayed with her up to now?
Because I was trying to look for a job, but I was homeless, so I just stayed roaming the streets, just try to keep her safe from corona, because I probably thought I had corona too. But I guess I don't have it. Yeah.
So, but going forward, if you're given an opportunity on deferred adjudication, you've decided and your mom has agreed that you'll reside with her.
Yes, sir.
I'm honestly not buying this guy's explanation at all. He's tried to explain why he's been homeless for around 10 years, but then he gives an explanation involving COVID, even though the timeline doesn't really add up. That kind of inconsistency can immediately make it harder for the court to take the rest of the story seriously. And then there's his attitude. He's sitting back like probation is something the court owes him rather than an opportunity he's being given. But probation isn't simply getting to walk away without consequences. It's an agreement with the court, and violating those conditions can lead to much more serious consequences. Watching this defendant, I honestly have a hard time believing he'll make it through probation without running into trouble again. And his attitude makes it seem like he doesn't fully understand that the rules actually apply to him. And what's interesting is that Judge Boyd is often willing to give defendants multiple opportunities to turn things around. Whether that's always the right approach is definitely debatable, but she clearly believes in giving people chances. Still, every time this guy keeps talking, it feels like he's making his own situation harder. Do you think he's convincing anybody with this explanation, or is Judge Boyd simply letting him continue until he exposes the problems in his own story?
The PSI, specifically the TAP, does not show that any drug treatment is necessary at this time. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
You don't have a substance abuse disorder?
No, sir.
Is there anything else you want the court to know?
No, sir.
I'll pass. Stay silent and I'll pass the witness.
State, do you have any questions?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Sir, Mr. Gargo, the two times that you were given felony probation, you were given probation, but then you were revoked off your probation. Is that correct? One in 2009 for burglary of a building. Do you recall that?
I can't remember what I think it was. Sir.
And then also evading arrest, second, back in 2014. You were revoked in 2014 and revoked in 2009. Do you recall that?
I can't remember. Yes, sir. I think so.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
No questions, Karen.
All right, I have a few questions. What gang are they alleging that you belong to?
Oh, they're trying to say I'm a Sureño. Sureño
Why would they say that?
13. Because they said I had a 13 on my stomach. They said I was a Sureño, but I'm not.
What's significant about the number 13 for you that you would tattoo it on your stomach?
It's just like I don't got it tattooed. It was just like a number I got when I was younger. But it's like a lucky number. It's not a gang thing. Like it's different stuff. It's just a number for like.
So why all the numbers would you put that on there?
Because it's for my name, Matthew. It's M2 for middle initial Matthew. Just a lucky number 13. I'm not affiliated, Your Honor.
Yeah, I don't know many people who just put 13 on their bodies because they think it's lucky. Unless they're gambling, and I don't think 13 is a lucky number when you gamble. All right. So why is it you can't hold a job for longer than 6 months?
Because I was trying to apply for SSI checks, Your Honor.
SSI for what?
Mental disability. When I was in school, I was getting SSI checks. I was in behavior improvement, special ed classes. I was going on.
There are a lot of people who are in special ed classes. They don't qualify for SSI. So again, we're back to this point because what you told your attorney was COVID hit and all these other things happened. And that is why you were homeless.
Yes, Your Honor.
But I don't know how you can not be homeless if you're only working 6 months at a time. So again, we're back to the question of why is the longest job you've ever had has been for 6 months?
Because I had it for 6 months and then I stopped and just became homeless.
So basically your homelessness was a choice because you stopped working at whatever job you had. You stopped working at 6 months.
I tried to get SSI too, Your Honor.
No, you don't. So what ends up happening is you have a job for 6 months. Did you have a bank account?
Oh, Your Honor.
So you have a job for 6 months. You have no savings and you decide to quit your job in the hopes of getting SSI.
Yes, Your Honor.
You don't, and you end up homeless.
Yeah, I didn't get it because they had me on hold. They said I signed out the papers and everything, but they said it would take anywhere from like a year. I was waiting for like a year, Your Honor.
All right. So Mr. Drago, I'm focusing on why you're homeless because you're making it seem as though you're homeless because things happened to you, not because you did certain things. So it appears to the court, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, you're homeless because you wanted to be homeless. You had a job. You have been working it for 6 months. You decide to quit that job. You have no money in your bank account. And so you just become homeless.
Because I thought I had corona, but I didn't have it, Your Honor.
So you didn't have corona.
Yeah.
So then that excuse is out the window.
That's when I got in trouble.
So you were just homeless basically because you wanted to be homeless.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now let's get to the next question. So the complainants in this case, were they eating at a restaurant?
No, Your Honor, they're pulling up to a restaurant.
All right, so they're pulling up to a restaurant and you disturb them, asking them for money to support you, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because you're homeless and you don't want to work. So you want to get money from people who are trying to just go to a restaurant and enjoy their meal in peace, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, how old is your mother?
My mother, she's like 50 something. I'm not so sure, Your Honor.
All right, so you don't know how old your mother is. What's her date of birth?
I don't know, Your Honor.
Do you know what month she was born in?
Oh, Your Honor.
Do you know what day it is?
It's 4/27.
So you're saying she was born in April?
I don't know, Your Honor. I don't know when she was born. I don't know. She's like 56, 57.
How old are you?
Me, I'm 37.
This part is honestly almost unbelievable. He says that if he's given probation, he'll go live with his mother. But then he struggles to answer basic questions about her, including her birthday and even her age. Those details may seem small, but they're exactly the kind of things a judge can use to determine whether a proposed living arrangement is actually realistic. If you're claiming someone is going to provide you with a stable home, you'd expect to know at least some basic information about them. And that's what makes his plan seem questionable here. It doesn't sound like he has a fully developed plan for what he's going to do if he gets probation. Now, it's possible that some people genuinely freeze up when they're nervous in court. So maybe that's all we're seeing here. But when you combine the uncertainty about his living arrangement with the inconsistencies in his explanation about homelessness, it's understandable why the court might have doubts. The bigger issue is that he seems to be focused on avoiding jail without clearly explaining what he's going to do differently afterward. And if you want the court to give you another chance, you need to show that you're actually prepared to use ID. Do you think Judge Boyd should have given this explanation more consideration, or was it obvious that the plan wasn't realistic?
All right. Is there anything else you wish to say, Mr. Idrago?
No, Your Honor.
All right. The court is going to find you guilty in count 1 and count 2. Court is going to sentence you to 5 years in the prison in each count. Each count will run concurrent. Give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Drago, when you get out, you need to make better choices. Get employed. If we want stuff, we have to work for it. I know people think it's okay to come up to people and ask them for money, but sometimes people don't want to be bothered. They're just trying to spend time with their family. You understand?
Yeah.
Good luck. And are you David Newman? Are both parties ready to proceed on this motion to revoke? Are you the same David Matthew Newman who was placed on community supervision in 2021 CR 0689 for the offense of possession of on February 1st, 2022 for a term of 10 years? Is that you?
The defendant, David Matthew Newman, did then and there fail to comply with the instructions of the Bexar County Community Supervision and Corrections Department program, and that the defendant failed to comply with the instructions of Lone Star Offender Treatment Program, his court-ordered sex offender treatment program, and that the defendant was suspended from treatment for failing to abide by treatment program rules in violation of Condition 13B.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, ma'am.
State.
In Condition 13H, on or about the 12th day of September 2022 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, David Matthew Newman, did then and there fail to comply with the instructions of the Bexar County Community Supervisions and Corrections Department program, and that the defendant was in possession of materials in violation of Condition 13H.
How do you plead to that? True or not true? State.
And lastly, the state is proceeding under Condition 16 on or about the 21st day of September 2022 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, David Matthew Newman, failed to comply with Chapter 62 requirements in violation of Condition 16.
How do you plead to that? True or not true? Did you understand by pleading true to violations 13B, 13H, and 16, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you to 10 years in the prison, and up to a $1,500 fine? Did you understand?
I understand.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to 13B, 13H, and 16?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find 13B, 13H, and 16 true. Is there an agreement?
There is an agreement, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
Revocation and a sentence of 6 years TDC.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. With regards to allegation number 16, is that a different type of?
That is non-contraband, not child pornography.
Adult?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the court is going to grant the motion, revoke you, sentence you to 8 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's a $1,500 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. There's to be Chapter 62 registration. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You have a limited right to appeal, and that's as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you were on community supervision. Do you understand? All right. Good luck to you.
Good.
Yes.
The deal was for 6 years, and I believe you announced 8. Is that-
Yes. I'm not following that plea. Okay. Thank you.
So, if you think you can walk into Judge Boyd's courtroom and play games, this hearing is a pretty good reminder to think again. Neither of these defendants got exactly the outcome they seemed to expect. The first defendant was confronted about the inconsistencies in his story, while the second case escalated in a completely different direction. The offer on the table was reportedly 6 years, but Judge Boyd ultimately imposed 8, and you could see the reaction on the defendant's face as the reality of that sentence started to sink in. His overall courtroom behavior also didn't exactly help his situation. There were several moments where his mannerisms and presentation came across as uncomfortable and inappropriate, and those kinds of things can affect how a defendant is perceived in court. At the end of the day, judges need to believe that defendants are taking proceedings seriously. If someone comes across as dismissive, disrespectful, or as though they're trying to manipulate the situation, that can make it much harder to earn the court's trust. The bigger lesson here is pretty simple. If you want mercy from the court, showing respect and taking responsibility can go a long way. But what do you guys think? Was Judge Boyd too harsh here, or was she exactly on point? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, guys.